Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Niazi, members of the board, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin my speech today, I'd like to say three things. Number one, I should have Irfan everywhere selling my book. So he did a really good job on my two books, Renewing the American Dream and The Pivot Points. And as you all know, both books are available if you go to Amazon to buy it. And if you send me an email, I'll send you free of charge. So, and also Dr. Niazi. President John F. Kennedy once said, "A nation reveals itself the way it recognizes and rewards its talents." Dr. Niazi is a visionary, and his strength and values and qualities that binds us together as a community. And I hope his cause endures of making the Northwest Suburban College as the Muslim Johns Hopkins University, and I hope his dream shall never die. Some members of my family is here. I know Dr. Ahmed introduced half of the people over here belongs to his family. If each and everyone contributes a significant amount of money, we'll be in good shape. So I want to recognize my sister Araish here, my nephew Ishtiaq, and my nephew traveled with me to India when I went to give a convocation address to Aligarh Muslim University, and when I went with President Obama to India. And his wife, who my wife Debbie loves her. Risha, stand up. And a little bit about the background of Risha. She is also related to Dr. Ahmed. We may not be bonded by blood, we may be oceans apart, but we definitely are bonded by marriage. So thank you for that kind introduction, Dr. Ahmed. It is truly a pleasure and honor for me to be here this evening. I'd like to thank all of you for coming. And looking at you tonight, I never felt so blessed. I'd like to express my deep gratitude to Dr. Ahmed for inviting me to deliver this address. Both of us have a store of shared memory. Dr. Ahmed provides the broad shoulders upon which we can stand. He is the source of strength, and he inspires all of us not only to do well, but also to do good. So let us stand shoulder to shoulder for the values and the vision we share. Let us give him a big round of applause. I just met his daughter, Afshan, and I introduced her to the TV. I'm sure she enjoyed her interview. Thank you, Afshan. Her daughter came to our house, who goes to George Washington University. Oh, what a wonderful daughter you have, and thank you. So I'm delighted to be here with you this evening because I feel a personal and indelible connection. We are linked by a common goal, a common cause, a common vision, and a common commitment. I also feel a common bond through our shared history, shared heritage, shared background, and shared belief. The lot that unite us, the little that divide us. Our bonds are stronger than the differences that too often drive us apart. I accepted the invitation to join you at the celebrations for three reasons. The first is that I understand how important higher education can be in one's life. It can shape your story, it can shape your journey, and it can determine your destiny. I graduated from Aligarh Muslim University in India, then came to the United States and got 2 degrees in information technology from the University of Colorado at Boulder when I left India at the age of 16 long years ago. That higher education provided me with the basic knowledge, skills, and abilities that I needed for success in the business world and as an entrepreneur. It provided me with the basic and essential foundation for attaining and achieving and realizing the American dream. The second reason is I'm passionate about higher education and what it can do to transform lives, especially for those who come from modest background and modest circumstances, a humble beginning as I did. My foundation provides assistance and I serve on many boards ranging from involvement in Montgomery County to international institutions like Johns Hopkins University, American University, Marymount University, University of Maryland, and George Mason University. I firmly believe the education is the key to opportunity and bridge to the future success. The greatest gift all of us can give is the gift of education. It is the gift that keeps on giving. As Irfan quoted, and I will say this again, education empowers the mind and uplifts the soul. It is a powerful equalizer for opening doors to lift themselves out of the poverty. Education is the best investment we can make to create the next generations of leaders, entrepreneurs, problem solvers, and innovators. Education helps create higher aspirations, and higher aspirations propel individuals and moves nations forward. As President Obama said, education is the currency of the 21st century. Education, I will add to that what President Obama said, education frees the human mind from the shackles of ignorance. My foundation, Frank and Debbie Islam, supports many scholarship programs all over the country and the world, especially at the University of Colorado, at George Mason University, George Washington University, and many other universities. My wife, Debbie, and I are uniquely blessed. We embody the American dream. With that thought and spirit in mind, my wife, Debbie, and I have donated $2 million to build a school of business at Aligarh Muslim University. Aligarh shaped my story, Aligarh shaped my journey, Aligarh also determined my destiny. Its principles have always guided me throughout my life, whether the time is calm or the crisis. I would not be the person I am today if I have not received the education at Aligarh Muslim University. I firmly believe, as Irfan said in his introduction, that my investment will yield exponential returns. As you all know, the Aligarh students has always been our best hope. This is my way of saying thank you and keeping the hope alive. always quote President John F. Kennedy, who was my inspiration when I was probably in high school, maybe junior high, who said, I'm reminded and guided by those words of President Kennedy, who said, to whom much is given, much is expected, which is what Dr. Niazi is doing. And thank you for all you do. I look at the time and dollars I contribute to higher education, as Irfan has also said, not as a charity, but as an investment. The returns on those investments has been and will be the graduates who will secure gainful employment and invest in the growth of economy and help others climb to the ladders of success as well. So the last reason for accepting the invitation to speak here at the Northwest Suburban College is that when my staff and I did the research on your college, I was inspired by what I found about the institution. You have a clear and a compelling vision and a mission. And you are doing an excellent work in an area of higher education that needs a lot of excellent work. I know the theme of this fundraiser, and I was told it is not a fundraiser, but I believe it is because we need your money. Our community, our impact, our legacy. And I will address this message and theme specifically in part 3 of my remarks. Before I do so, however, in part 1, I will talk about the state of higher education today in America. In part 2, I will discuss the purpose of higher education. And then in part 3, I will concentrate on Northwest Suburban College, your business model, and what you're doing to transform higher education in a fundamental way. So let's get started. So what's the state of the higher education in the United States of America today? Overall, I would say it's mediocre. So if you look at the mediocre in the dictionary, it says of any moderate quality. And I think that unfortunately, this has been what has happened to the higher education industry overall in the past quarter of a century or so in America. Higher education has moved from being the driving force to being more of a restraining force for the nation and many of our students. If I were to assign a letter grade, I would give it a C minus. Am I being too tough a grader? I believe not. So here are the reasons for my assessment. Higher education costs far too much. Students today have to carry too large share of the cost of their education. It takes too long to graduate. Higher education does not provide the skills needed to acquire or to perform successfully on the job. Too many students start colleges and do not complete it. The student debt burden for completers and non-completers is astronomical. And finally, the debt burden retards the growth of our economy. So here are some of the facts and examples that support my analysis. Between 2001 and 2011, the tuition costs at community colleges had gone up 40%, and by a whopping 68% at four-year colleges. In March 2013, the State Higher Education Officer released a report disclosing that state and local appropriations had gone down to almost $3,000 or over 30%. Higher education funding grew by 1%, an estimated 3.7% in 2014. That's the good news. But here's the bad news. The student share of what they pay for education has grown by 30%, and the states have cut back. For the first time ever, students are now paying half or more of their education cost. So let me move from cost to graduation and skills development. The average time for a full-time student to graduate from a four-year institution is now 6 years. On average, about 40% of students who start full-time at a two-year college drop out. In terms of job placement, let me concentrate on the new generation, also known as millennials. A study found that those who got a job right out of school in 2000 was 84%. That dropped to 72% by 2012. In terms of the skill development, let me concentrate on the teaching profession. In 2013, the National Council of Teacher Quality released a report that said, and I quote, "The teacher profession has become an industry of mediocre, churning out first-year teachers with the classroom management skills and content knowledge inadequate to thrive in classrooms with ever-increasing ethnic and socio-economic student diversity." Then there is a student debt. They're drowned by debt. Consumer Reports cover story in August was about student debt. The story reported that 42 million students in the United States bear $1.3 trillion in debt. That's $1 trillion, a big T. What a tragedy for these students, and what a tragedy for the American economy. Because of that debt and their payments on it, many of the college graduates cannot afford to buy a car, even a used one, a home, forget about it. Retirement is an illusion. Given their economic circumstance, in 2014, 32% of college graduates between the ages of 18 and 34 were living at home with their parents, and this compares to only 20% in 1960. I could go on, but I won't. You get the picture. And it is a dismal failure, a dismal one. In concluding the first part of my remark, I must say unequivocally that higher education business model here in the United States is broken. That is just not my opinion. In 2012, E. Gordon Gee, chairman of the National Commission on Education Attainment, said, and I quote, "Public colleges and universities need to devise a new business model to pay for the cost of education beyond sticking students with higher tuition and greater debt." The commission was going to come up with a new business model and presented that in report, but it did not occur. Instead, in 2013, it provided an open letter with 3 general recommendations and stated there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Is this the music? It's the party. So they're not interested in higher education, they're interested in a party. So maybe we should be joining those parties. But I have a better thing for you to listen and learn, because this is our children's life is at stake. So I want to take the issue as I move to the second part of my remark, the purpose of higher education. Let me begin exploring the purpose of higher education by describing the higher education's current business model. It is an institutionally centered model. The focus has been on increasing the size and the salaries of the administration, reducing the classroom, time of the faculty so they can spend time on research and publishing, and increasing student fee to pay for things like new facilities, sports venues, etc. That is the essence of the institutionally centered model that came into vogue late in the 20th century. What higher education needs to do in the 21st century is to convert a customer-centered business model where the customer is a student, which is what Northwest Suburban College does. And that model would put the student at the customer at the center of the decision and to do things that add value for the student. Higher education students come to school to learn. But the vast majority of them are there not going to graduate, but to get a job or promotion where they can earn an appropriate return for the investment of their educational dollars. So viewing things from the student perspective as opposed to an institutional one, I would classify the purpose of higher education in three broad categories: turning purpose, earning purpose, and learning purpose. The first institution of higher education in the United States are the one that serve either a turning purpose, being established to prepare individuals to the ministry, are the ones that serve a learning purpose, being established as sort of intellectual finishing school for the landed gentry. The move towards an earning purpose for higher education for the masses, were prompted by the passage of the Morrill Act in 1862. The Morrill Act established land-grant universities which were to be focused on teaching, agriculture, military tactics, and engineering. For a very, very long time after that, the academic perspective prevailed. Learning or knowledge for knowledge's sake was front and center on the higher education agenda. Now, given the explosive cost of higher education and diminishing public financial support, the issue becomes, what should be the purpose of higher education? Or more appropriately, should there be a single purpose? In my opinion, the general purpose of higher education that we have discussed at this point is learning, earning, and turning. But they're not mutually exclusive. An institution could emphasize only one purpose or embrace all the three. So the essential requirement should be for the institution to align its curriculum to its purpose and to communicate its mission clearly. This will enable a prospective student to make an informed decision on where to go to school based upon the institution's espoused intent. This is essential because the student comes in all shapes and sizes. Some are interested in learning, some are interested in earning, some are interested in turning, and some are interested in all the three forms, and others are not sure. So the exercise of student choice acknowledges this. It brings into play a fourth category, a purpose for higher education. That is, fulfilling the educational yearning or desire of the student. The yearning purpose should be the key driver for the type of education that a student pursues and that an institution provides. With that focus on the student and the yearning purpose of higher education, I will turn my attention in part three of my remarks to Northwest Suburban College and the topics of community, impact, and legacy. Northwest Suburban College does not have to change its business model because it was established with a customer or student-centered model. I'll go one step further by saying that I would characterize the college as being in the value business. Based upon the materials that I have reviewed, I would say the college formula for success is to deliver superior value, expand, enhance the value chain, and ensure the right values. Let me discuss each of these in turn. So what's the value? In the simplest term, the value, quality, is divided by cost. The superior value is the highest quality at the lowest cost. This college was set up by the founding president, M.T. Ali Niazi, and the other founders. And the purpose to serve to deliver superior value. Given the current state of higher education that I described in part one of my remarks, the purpose of fast-track education at a fair price that this college makes is the one that's of critical importance to both America's student and our society in general. It is not just about making that promise, it is being able to keep it. That is where the value chain concept comes in. Howard Professor Michael Porter introduced the value chain in his classes test of 1985, Competitive Advantage. The value chain is a set of activities that an organization carries out to deliver value for its customer. The value chain varies by industry. In higher education, the key primary activities in the value chain include recruiting, curriculum development, teaching, counseling, and placement. The key support activities consist of the right processes, practices, and the people. These include the institutional infrastructure, human resources, financial management, and the technology management. When each of these value chain components add value, the institution produces superior value and the financial margin required to grow and to expand and enhance its portfolio. I must emphasize that the pivotal element is people. Having the right people in place, administrations, faculty, support staff, doing the right things. Yes, even in this era of automation, robotics, and apps, people still make the difference. So the value here at Northwest Suburban College, you recognize that you have responsibility to ensure that your students have the knowledge, skills, and ability to do the job, and also have the right attitude and disposition. This is where the value comes in, both those of the students and its leader. Northwest Suburban College has a powerful set of core values grounded and stated in your vision on the fundamental Islamic values of service, excellence, and compassion. Over time, the alignment of values, the value chain, and the value combine to build community, impact, and a legacy. So let me say a few words about the community. A college community is comprised of its students, faculty, administrations, alums, and families. It also requires a strong connection to the location which it resides. This is where I was especially pleased to see what Northwest Suburban College believes in it, collaborate with citizens group in the community to enrich professional partnerships. That community connection will help take the college to the next level. Impact. It's amazing what Northwest Suburban College has been able to do in less than a decade, starting with only 2 students to getting fully accredited and graduating more than 150 students a year with undergraduate degree and its certificates. I look at impact in higher education in terms of the concentric circles. At the center, the students who learns the tools of the trade in school, then goes out, gets a job, does it well, delivers a product, a service that impact others. The impact does not stop there because your students are in the helping and healing professionals. The impact benefits not only to those who are cured, but their families. Since its establishment, Northwest Suburban College has added new programs to its curriculum offering that have enabled to expand and enhance its impact. I know the plans are eventually to be able to provide a medical degree. That will be the capstone. But your impact is already significant and substantial. That brings me to legacy. I will share with you two of my favorite quotes related to legacy. One is from Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, the founder of the Aligarh Muslim University. The other comes from Harvard school professor Clayton Christensen. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan wanted the graduates of Aligarh to go forth across this great land to preach the gospel of free inquiry, of large-hearted tolerations, and of a pure morality. Professor Christensen, in an article in the Harvard Business Review, wrote, "I have concluded that the metric by which God will assess my life is not dollars, but the individual people whose lives I have touched." Christensen follows that statement with the advice that he gives to his business school student at the end of every semester. And it is, don't worry about the individual prominence that you have achieved, worry about the individuals you have helped to become a better people. Sir Syed was a Muslim. Professor Christensen is a Mormon. They are sending essentially the same message. So that is the message that Northwest Suburban College is sending, and the business that this college is in. So it is in the business of touching the lives of students so they can touch the lives of others. That is and will be its legacy. In closing, I recognize that this is a fundraising event. So here it goes. Let me say, I think it's important to give. That is because I said earlier in my speech, Northwest Suburban College is implementing a business model that will transform higher education in a fundamental way. Consider it's a statement to provide high accelerated and affordable education in a small classroom setting, thereby promoting individual growth and achievement. Compare and contrast that mission to those of other higher education in the United States of America. There is a significant difference. Higher education is at a pivot point. I define a pivot point as an area that must be leveraged and addressed effectively in order to achieve positive outcomes. Northwest Suburban College is working that pivot point. It is transforming the higher education. Its customer and student-centered business model is the right model for the 21st century. As we move forward, more and more institutions will move toward that model. Those who do not will not survive. So Northwest Suburban College is there already. They have a proven track record and more track to build. All of us can make a difference, and all of you should make a difference. So let us deepen, strengthen, and broaden our engagement and our partnership with Northwest Suburban College. Let us never forget the values that our community shares, the belief that with education and hard work and with sacrifice, we can give our children a better life. So let us dedicate ourselves to draw upon the values and the spirit that have always defined the greatness of our community. They deserve your support and your admiration. They have mine. So let's extend our hand, our hope, and our help to Northwest Suburban College and double down our commitment. Remember, when they succeed, all of us succeed, the United States of America succeed, and the world succeeds. So thanks for listening to me. I appreciate your attentiveness and your commitment to Northwest Suburban College. So when I look back the time we spent together, the miles we have traveled together, the memories that we have cherished together, I will always think of you. God bless you all.